My name's Christine Stewart and I'm from Truro, Nova Scotia. I'm a single mom and I work in the insurance industry. I got into financial difficulty as a young adult, being out on my own. I had all these credit cards because they were easy to get. I would see something that I want and I would buy it without thinking of the consequences. Or, it was very easy to just pull out the credit card to make up for those gaps when maybe your paycheck didn't stretch far enough. It was just an easy thing to do, and it quickly snowballed. I would look at my statements and think, oh, the minimum payment's not so bad, and just make those, and it would get worse and worse. I was always able to make my minimum payments on my credit cards, and it was never a problem until I got pregnant with my son, and I knew I had to go on maternity leave. And when you go on maternity leave, your income is cut in half. And I crunched the numbers, and I knew there was no way I would be able to make any of my minimum payments anymore, plus be able to pay the regular bills, the rent and the groceries and all that stuff. So I knew I had no choice but to do something. When I finally did decide to make a change in my life, I found that my husband at the time was going through the same thing, but he wanted the easy way out with bankruptcy and didn't want to make the change that I wanted to make. And that was really difficult, and it was definitely one of the contributing factors in the breakdown of our relationship. I was ready to grow up and make the change. I felt like I had no choice with my son on the way, and he wasn't willing to make the same changes, so it was difficult. After my first appointment, I felt really optimistic. And I felt relief that I had an option. I was going to be able to pay my bills, and there was hope to be kind of free from my debt. When I first was going into my first appointment, I was really nervous because I thought, that I'd go in and maybe the person would be someone who would just kind of look down on me or judge me for the situation that I had gotten into. And it wasn't like that at all. In fact, my counselor I believe she had been through the program herself, and she told me all about her experience and about the things she went through in her life and how she had turned her situation around. And it just made me feel like it made me feel like I wasn't being judged, and she understood where I was coming from and really genuinely wanted to help me. When you're setting up the debt repayment plan, you sit down with the counselors and you come up with a budget, basically. And they think of things that you don't think of when you're doing the budget. You list everything out, all your expenses, right down to, if you get a haircut each month, every little expense that you could think of, and then they factor in your debt repayment and to see what you can afford. And they work with you on that. And if you're spending too much in one area, they make suggestions of how you can make changes to really make the most out of your debt repayment. For the first year, I kind of almost in a way stayed in the same pattern, just paid the payment that I was supposed to make for my debt repayment. But then after the first year, I found myself, I would go on their website and track, you can go on their website and track how your debt is reducing. And I found after the first year, I kind of liked the feeling of watching it go down. And so I'd almost get a kick out of putting more and more on it so I could watch it go down quicker. And that really helped me pay it off much faster. To know that I got myself out of debt without filing for bankruptcy, I was proud of myself because I really felt like I had spent that money. I should pay it back. My husband at the time went the other route. He filed for bankruptcy. He was in a similar situation, was in debt, and he just filed for bankruptcy and was done in 7 months. And he really pressured me to do the same, and I did not want to. I felt like I spent that money, so I wanted to pay it back, and I felt very proud when I did pay it back. Now I will not buy something unless I have the cash for it. I do have credit cards again now, but I have the cash, I use my credit card and then pay it right off so that I can rebuild my credit without going into the debt again. I have a 4-year-old son at home, and I think he's going to appreciate what I've done because, you know, now I'm able to provide for him better. I can pass on the lessons that I've learned. In fact, that's one of the things I think about all the time, is that I'm excited to be able to pass these lessons on to him, because I didn't really have those lessons passed on to me, but now I can do that for him. And I don't have to worry now and always be stressed out that I won't have the money if something does come up with him. You know, over the course of paying off this debt, I separated from my husband and am a single mother now. So it's more important than ever for me to be able to have, you know, I have a savings account for the first time that has money in it. So, you know, that whole stress is gone, and I can, you know, he can, as a child, living with a parent with debt, you feel that stress. And now I know my son won't have that in his life.